Hello.
Hi,
All right. How are you? Can you
I'm
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me well?
Okay. Yes. If at any time you think that you can't hear me or there's too much noise, I'll go inside. Okay.
Okay. I think I can hear you perfectly.
Perfect. Okay. Perfect.
Last time I saw you, I think was in December when you were getting ready to move to Senegal, right?
Yes.
And
Exactly. And I think when
yeah,
I saw you, I wasn't sure that I would move to Senegal. I was just thinking about it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you actually lived in Ivory Coast for a while, and you were thinking about moving to Senegal, and you decided
Mhm.
that's it, you're moving to Senegal.
Yeah. I was like, I'm out.
How's it been
Yes.
fitting in? Have you settled in well?
Yeah, I mean, when you first move in, your apartment's kind of empty. I don't really have time to go out and find things to furnish it.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, during my free time, I'm not in the house. I'm out, I'm at the beach, I'm either working, just walking around, getting to know my environment, my surroundings, and, meeting new people.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we can get started just with the conversation.
Yeah.
And the first thing I think we should talk about is just about your background, where you were born, where you grew up, before we get into
Okay.
moving to Ivory Coast and all of that. It would be interesting to know where you grew up.
Okay. So I was born and raised in Lynchburg, Virginia. If you've been to the US, I'm sure you know Virginia, but you probably don't know of Lynchburg unless you have family there. It's a very small town. And my mom's side is American with, like West Indian origins. And my dad's side is from Africa. So I didn't really grow up with my dad's side. I didn't know them until I came to Africa. And this is what brought me to Africa. I just felt like something was missing. And I wanted to come meet my dad, meet the family, and then I got here and I just saw like the opportunity. And my dad's side is not just, they're also very mixed. They're Middle Eastern, North African, and West African. Yeah. So it's
So when
very
was the
rich in
first,
culture.
so when was the first time you came to see your dad's side and to meet your dad's family?
2015 when I first came to Africa. Yeah.
Hmm. And how was that
And
experience for you?
I mean, I kept an open mind. At this point, I was just tired of where I was. I guess I spent so much time in a small town. I went to New York for 6 months and I said, I want to go to Africa. Like, I just want to go. So I took my daughter with my grandma, my dad's mom, who came to the US. And she kept telling me, come, 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 let's go. So we came. And I remember calling my mom and my family, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to Africa. They're like, for how long? I don't know, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month. I don't know. And I came back a year later, like to visit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay, sure.
I didn't have a plan. Yeah.
So what was when you actually moved to Ivory Coast? What was the plan? Why did you decide to move to Ivory Coast?
I don't think I ever really decided to move. I just came and then I stayed the first year. I went back to the U.S. Stayed for a month, came back, did that twice. Stayed. I think no. When I came back the first time, I went to the U.S. Came back. I started working at the presidency in Ivory Coast. I was working in the government, and then when I decided to quit my government job, I tried to move back to the U.S. And then I realized, no, you know what? I started doing this, side thing, which ended up being my business later on, and I feel like I shouldn't just come back to the US and start working unless I give my own business a shot. And I
Mhm.
kind of miss, Africa. Like I came here, I turned 21. I came right for my 21st birthday, which is like my whole adult life. I was here. So I missed it. It became a part of me, So I just decided to come back. And that's when I think I decided, okay, I'm moving back to Africa. Now I'm going back and I'm going to stay, you know.
Okay, so you say you came to Ivory Coast, you went back, and then you decided to come back to Ivory Coast.
Yes.
And what business are you in? What business did you start? And what was
Okay.
the progression into going into business?
Okay. So my business is language courses, and we just added new features. So we have language courses, personal development and career development because it kind of all goes together. I'm very interested in education and languages. So I started teaching English, and I didn't really start like, okay, I want to start a business. I was just teaching English on the side, and then eventually it started to grow towards a business when I realized, hey, I can turn this into something. And so that's when I really started to take it seriously. Yeah.
And I know I'm jumping in now. Probably I'll come back into more details about the business. But how's the business now? Are you still working alone? Has it grown? How's it going currently?
Yes, so I'm not working alone anymore. I definitely have a great team. I have other teachers who are teaching different languages. We have, I think, at least 10 languages. We have a lot of languages because each teacher is bi or trilingual and native speakers. So I'm not working alone. We also have the coach for career development and personal development who does one-on-one sessions, and we're doing like some webinars, online webinars for different topics like strategic planning, communications. Right now we're going to do one on communications, emotional intelligence, because all of this goes with career. Same for languages. Most people are learning languages to help them in their career or because they're moving abroad. So business is going well. I think it's been consistently expanding, and sometimes the pace picks up. There are moments where it gets a little slow, and I think when it gets a little slow, I didn't anticipate it. So that's on me, to anticipate it beforehand. And sometimes it's just like, well, I want to relax. So I'm not going to be out here trying to book a whole bunch of clients when it's time to take a break,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So did you, one of the questions I received was, were there any licenses that you had to acquire or like registering a business? And I know one person also asked, how did you acquire citizenship? Although I don't know if you need citizenship to start a business in a country in Ivory Coast.
Okay. So my dad has Ivorian citizenship. So I got citizenship through my dad, I think before I even started the business. I think I needed to get the citizenship to be able to work in the government. So this is why I got the citizenship. Registration, I did register as a company in Ivory Coast, and I didn't do it myself. My uncle did it, but you can go to the courts and you can ask around. If you have someone to do it for you, they can get over on you a little bit less. They'll charge you less money to do it. Mm-hmm. But in Africa, you just go and you just ask someone, then you ask someone, and somebody eventually they'll put you in the right direction. Yeah. So this is how I've done just about everything. So yes, I was registered. I am registered in Ivory Coast. I will register here in Senegal. And yeah, I think it was simple. Like I just had to register in order for the big companies that I was working with to be able to pay me through their companies, like for their companies to pay for it. Other than that, I took cash in hand when I first started or online.
Yeah. So Apelele is saying this was so important to show that the Black child, it's possible to abandon the norm and follow your interest wherever they are.
Yes.
And I think you are really a living example of that, because from the States you came to Ivory Coast, and after a few years you're now in Senegal, which is many of us.
I want to say something about that, especially the Black thing, because in the States, if you're mixed, you can be mixed, you can be yellow, you can be part white or look white and still be Black. So in the States, I always grew up knowing that I'm Black and with the Black culture and proud of being Black. And then I get to Ivory Coast and they're like, La Blanche. For anyone who doesn't speak French, it means the white girl. And I'm like, do you see this? Like, this is not blush. This is definitely darker, like brown or caramel or whatever you want to call it. So I felt myself educating Ivorians on Black power, or Black pride, or just being a proud, educated Black person. And I guess they kept trying to congratulate me on everything I'm doing and link it to the other side, not to the Black side, or just the fact that I'm American or something. And I'm like, no, I'm Black and I'm educated and I like this and I'm hardworking. This is not, you guys are watching too much TV at this point. So, and then in Senegal, I mean, they're proud of being Black. They're proud of being African. I'm definitely getting into some, cultural stuff while I'm here to talk about Black education and Black history. Yeah.
Interesting. So back to your business. Did you need any funding or infrastructure to start the business when you were here?
No, the only thing I needed was my transportation to get from point A to point B. And then as I said, okay, I want to develop, I want to make it a little bit more professional. I just needed money to pay for the printouts, but I calculated my price in a way that the client was paying for whatever I needed. And I was taking the profit. So I made mainly profits. The most thing they were paying for is their printouts, and my transportation. And then I got my profit for my hour teaching. When I started to go online, then I did need to pay for, okay, I need to pay for my domain. I needed to pay for software, and I needed to pay for somebody to do the website for me. And this is the most costly thing because I haven't had it, it's expanding. So I have one idea, and then after a few months, I'm like, you know what, we're going to add this. So I need to go back and tell the guy, we got to redo this whole page. We need to remove this function, add this function. So I have to keep paying for this guy to keep redoing my website, and that's what's costing me more.
Mm-hmm. Also, when you started, you were teaching physically.
Yes, going to people's homes and teaching.
Okay. So that is why now it was easy for you to move to Senegal because everything has migrated to online.
Yes, I went to online and I'm like, you know what? I want to do online so that I can leave Ivory Coast. I don't know where I want to go, but I do want to go somewhere else. And then I went online. I think I started working on my website right before COVID. And I was trying to figure out how am I going to get my students to do online when they're so used to me coming in person. And then COVID hit. And then all the parents were like, we don't know what to do with their homework. I said, don't worry, I'll get back to you guys in a week. And I had it function and, functioning and running. And then I've been online ever since.
Okay. So I think what I'd love to know is like the profits. Are you living comfortably? Because, wherever I want to go, I know I want to live comfortably and I want to work hard, but, there's things that I know that I want in my life. So at the moment, I know that the business is still growing, but are you making it?
Okay. So standard of living, like what I'm making, I definitely know that I'm making just about as much as my friends who are working like, full-time jobs. So yes, I can have a good standard of living here in Africa because people assume that living in Africa is cheap. No, some things are cheaper and more convenient, but we have a lot of expenses here if you want to live at the standard of living that you were living in the US. So yes, I do feel like I am living great. I feel like I have a roof over my head. I have a nice apartment. I don't have a car, but I haven't found the need to get a car, because I work from home. Where am I going to go with the car? And I'm moving around. If I had a car, I don't know, I would have had to sell it. It would be a hassle for me. So I have a roof over my head. I live in a comfortable place. I get to go out and enjoy myself. I have pocket money to do activities. I mean, if I want to buy something, there's no problem for me, So I do feel like what I'm making, I'm proud of it. And I know that it's coming from me and my efforts. No one's paying me. It's me and my efforts, and everything I have coming in has come from, my ideas or whatever. So yeah, I can't say that I am happy and I am comfortable. There's an ambulance. Okay. So yeah, so I am comfortable. I feel like I'm, I live a good life, and
Okay.
I'm not, yes. And also I think that you just have to be grateful for what you have, because I learned by being in Africa after seeing poverty, like real poverty, like it teaches you to be more grateful and to just appreciate the little things and appreciate just the simple life. I just feel like walking down the street and coming across like the guy who's selling plants is like a good day for me, as I'm very easily pleased.
So I know something we want to talk about is being a single mom, but I just want to bring it in now because you're running a business, you're a single mom moving around with, your child, and how do you find your work-life balance in running the company and growing it and having employees now and helping your country? How do you balance your life?
Okay, this is a good question because yes, people assume that when you work for yourself, you work less. And sometimes when you work for yourself, you end up working more. And I know over the years I've missed out. I've had people, I've been invited to things and I didn't go because either I was tired because I was overworking myself, or I knew that I had something I needed to get it done, and I just had to sacrifice going out this time so that I can get this done. But that was on me, and I missed out because I decided to miss out. When I was working at the presidency, a government job, I was doing 24-hour shifts every 5 days, and then working full-time Monday through Friday. If my kid was sick, and this is when it clicked for me, my kid was sick one time, and I told them I had to, go to the hospital with my daughter. I thought she had malaria. And they told me, tell someone else to take her, And I said, yeah, I do have someone else to take her, but I'm the mom. It's my responsibility to be with my sick child. And I think that being a woman and being a single mom and working is already a hassle. So the fact that I work for myself, I make the call. Is it important enough for me I need to stop working and I need to go, and I'm not going to be penalized. If I'm going to be penalized, maybe financially, but because maybe I'll miss out on this hour, but I can reschedule, and I make my own schedule. If I have something coming up, I can say, okay, I'm not working this weekend. If I know that I have stuff, if I have the time, I will work. But my benefits and my efforts, I need to put in the effort. I need to put in the work to reap the benefits.
Yeah.
But I'm rich on time. I put it that way. Freedom, there's no price to freedom. And I feel free working for myself. So even if I'm having a period where there's not a lot of clients, especially during the summertime, we have less lessons. But I have a lot of extra time during the summertime, and I can enjoy myself,
and
just time with my daughter.
The same topic with your daughter. And have there been any gender discrimination that you've found, not only here, I guess, wherever you've been, just with regards to your business and just being, moving to a new country?
So I think just being a woman in the working field in general, and then saying, okay, I have my business. I will have men who come up and they're like, oh, I really like, what you're doing. I'm interested in taking courses. And they're not interested in taking courses. Oh, let's exchange numbers. I had one guy who said he wants to sign up for something, and he wants me to come to his office to receive the money in cash. I say, look, everything is online. If you're serious, we don't need to meet in person. You don't need to take me out for me to receive the payment and for you to receive your services. So I mean, they think it's a cool way to do it, but for me, it's irritating because it's just showing that you're not taking me serious. And what I'm doing is serious, and I take myself serious. So it's if you want to hit on me, just hit on me, just go out and do it. But don't go through the business. Yeah, don't go through my business to do that. Just do it, So yes, I do feel like there's gender discrimination, and it's flattering, but not. I don't like it, oh no, this is a pet peeve for me. You will not stand a chance if you go through my business.
Okay. So what were one of the big culture shocks, having grown up in the States and then moving here, whether it be Senegal or Ivory Coast? How long were you in Ivory Coast, by the way? Just how long were you in Ivory Coast before you moved to Senegal?
6 years.
6 years.
On and off, but 6 years, yes. Okay. The biggest cultural shock, being punctual, being punctual. You tell me 10 o'clock, I will show up at 9:50. I might even be there at 9:30 and go walk around to, come back by 9:50. And Ivory Coast, they'll hit you with the j'arrive, which means I'm coming. And if they say j'arrive, this means get comfortable or go back home and wait till they call and tell you they're there. Because when they're there, that means they're still on the way or they're up the street. So the biggest cultural shock is being punctual. They are so unpunctual, and it's so irritating, and sometimes it's very disrespectful,
Yeah.
And then the not being able to be honest and speak your mind. This is the second biggest one. Okay, this person's older. I grew up with you give respect to get respect. And to them, it's you have to respect me regardless, either because I'm a man, I'm older, especially with family, oh, this is your elder. You cannot speak to them, and I'm this way. And I'm well, I'm not being disrespectful, but I'm being honest. you know, and they don't appreciate the honesty. Yeah, they don't appreciate it. And then I think the last one in Ivory Coast for me is the bonjour.
The what?
You have to bonjour. You
Uh-huh.
have to greet them. Like the greetings. The greetings were a little much for me, you know. But I got used to
Everywhere.
the greetings. I adapted. Yeah, I adapted.
Everywhere. I
Yes.
think I know back home, you have to greet people. You can't just start talking to a person.
Yes. I mean, even
So-
in stores, like I remember one day I was looking for the bathroom and I asked the lady, I went up, I said, excuse me, where's the bathroom? And she looks at me and she goes, bonjour. And I said, but I said, excuse me. And I said it with a nice tone, you know? So they really take it bonjour word for word and very serious.
yeah, I think that's something also. I think most of the countries on the continent, before you talk to someone, you have to, whatever the situation is, even on the street, sometimes you have to, greet
Yes.
people.
Yes.
I know that, I don't know if you have this expectation as well, but sometimes I see that people in America think you can live in African countries for under $1 a day. What's your take on that?
You know what? Senegal, Ivory Coast. If you want to compare pricing, you're spending money as if you're living in DC.
Yeah.
You want to live comfortable, you're living in the capital. You know, I'm not living in the village, I'm living in the city. It's very modern. They have modern homes. And yes, we do have, you can get a nanny for cheaper. You cannot get a nanny in the US. You have to be rich to have one of those. Here, you can have a nanny for at least anywhere between 60, 100, and $150. You know, so yes, some things are more convenient. We don't have laundromats. We have to pay someone to come wash our clothes here, unless you buy a washer dryer. So the cost of living, I think, is just about the same as if you're living in the U.S. in a big city. Not like my city. My city is very cheap to live. You can have a big house for like maybe $800 a month. You cannot have that here in Senegal, no, or in Ivory Coast, no.
So,
So it's definitely city lifestyle, you know, city prices,
yeah,
not a
so
dollar a day.
you can't live under
Yeah,
$1 a day.
not a dollar a day. No, nope.
Okay, so now let's go back to being a single mom. What have been like the biggest obstacles? Having to move. And now I know you've got a pet. You've got a monkey.
Yes, but my monkey is still in Ivory Coast, so we're trying to figure out a way to bring her. But that's like having a second child. Yes.
I think so. So how's it been like moving, with your child and now your second child to a different country? How's the
Okay.
adjusting, the schooling?
So I think coming to Senegal was easy for her. You know, I feel like I did my best, knowing that I'm taking her out of her environment, her comfort zone, which is Ivory Coast. Because regardless, my kid has become Ivorian. When she speaks French, she speaks like an Ivorian, and French is definitely her better language. And now that she's here, I told myself I will put in more effort to have more time with her. And because where I live, like I specifically chose this area because I knew I'm in a few minutes walk from the beach, a few minutes walk from her school, the school that I found for her, and a few minutes walk from the stores and the restaurants and the main road. So I have more time. And Ivory Coast, I'm working from home. So even I'm home, but she cannot have any contact with me. I'm like, okay, I'm working out. I'm in a lesson. Here, I definitely can like walk her to school in the morning. Every morning, we have like an hour's time. She starts a little bit later. We have time if we want to go to the bakery to buy bread. We have this time to chat. We just, we walk and we're getting outside more. On the weekends, I'm like, hey, I'm bored. You want to go to the beach? And she's like, yeah or no. And we just get up and we go walking. And there's a lot more activities to do here. There's a lot to do in Ivory Coast. But here it's easier to get to and it's in the zone. So we've gone to do like pottery. They have like a small amusement park for kids. So I do feel like me coming here was an adjustment for her, but at the same time, it's giving me the opportunity to spend more time. And Senegal's a little bit more laid back in culture, and the weather is like not as hot and humid as in Ivory Coast, so we can be outside, we can be comfortable. Yeah, Ivory Coast is hot.
Yeah, it is.
It's so hot.
So
Yeah.
does she have any memories of the US? or you guys have been so long enough?
Yeah, she does because we would go back every year. She spent like a few months, maybe two. I think she hasn't been back in 3 years. I went back 2 years ago, and yeah, those 3 years ago she spent the whole summer. And before that, I think when she was around 4, she spent the whole year because when I first brought her to Ivory Coast, she forgot English.
Oh,
And when we went back to visit, my mom is like, "You took my grandchild over there, and now I cannot communicate with my grandchild because she doesn't speak English." And like, you would speak to her, and she would respond in French. So she understood English, but she couldn't speak it. So she stayed for a year, and I came back, and then I went back and brought her back for her to start school.
mhm. Okay. So just a few last questions before we wrap up. What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions that are out there about African countries, especially in the US?
So the first thing, safety. I feel a lot more safe or a lot safer in Ivory Coast and in Senegal than I did in the US.
Mhm.
Because one, I mean, Americans they're big on their gun laws and everything, but here the gun laws are a lot stricter. And whenever you do hear someone getting robbed or like, violence, they slap the person and they stole their phone, like, I mean, or they don't even touch you. They just grab your phone through the window and they keep it moving, or like take your purse and go. In the US, when you hear about violence, you hear about like shootings and stabbing. So I do feel safer here. And when I don't answer my phone, like my family members say, "Oh, I thought you were kidnapped." I'm like, if I was gonna get kidnapped, I'd be kidnapped in like the forest in the country where we're from. So I definitely feel a lot a lot safer here. Second misconception: no one speaks English. You being an English speaker who's learning French, you've come across lots of English speakers.
Yes, I have.
And yes, and English is the universal language. So just about in every country you go, most people who went to school have a certain level of English.
Mhm.
And then the third misconception, I think, would be how modern Africa is.
Mhm.
Like, they always ask me, what type of animals do you see? I mean, I saw a lot more snakes in Virginia, than I've seen since I've been in Africa. So it's very modern. This is a big misconception. It's very modern. And that there's just black. Everyone in Africa is black. Yeah, this is a big misconception.
Okay.
That one. Yeah. I think that's a really big one. Like, they're surprised to see people of different ethnicities, different nationalities. And in Ivory Coast, like, there's just about as many Lebanese as there are Ivorians,
I was actually
And
quite
so,
surprised. Both here and in Gabon, in Ivory Coast and in Gabon, there's so many Lebanese that I didn't expect to see that
yes.
happen. And I'm
From
also,
from those countries, right?
yeah, especially I'm from Africa, in South Africa, but I had no idea. So only after I came here that I saw the reality of it. So,
Yes. So there's a lot of mix.
so what are the top three things that you miss about America?
Food. But somebody told me that there's an American store here and that I need to go. They said they got Cheeto or Doritos, they have Now Later, they got Gatorade. So I'm definitely going to take a trip to the American store because they don't really have one in Abidjan. Or they do, but there's, the stuff is like expired and stale. Besides the food, just the people who are there that I miss, the people. And I think that's just about it.
Okay.
Yeah, food and the people. Yeah. Hey, I'm good where I am, especially in Senegal. I love it here. I'm not leaving.
Hey.
Oh, I love it. It's so peaceful, so nice. Yeah.
Okay. And what are the top three things that you love most about Ivory Coast? I know you've only been in Senegal for like a month or two, so I'll just ask about Ivory Coast. The top
Yeah.
three things that you like about Ivory Coast.
I like the open mindedness. I mean, you do
So
have the cultural
there's
clashes.
a lot of noise in the background.
Yeah, hold on. Let me go in. Let me go in for a second because there's cars. Excuse-moi, vous pouvez amener ça dedans? Wait, wait. Okay, is this better?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I do like the open mindedness that there is in Ivory Coast. Okay. I mean, there are like the traditions, and people are like, okay, you can't do this, you can't do that. But I feel like the younger generation is a lot more open-minded, and they're so used to receiving foreigners that it's like they're accustomed to it. They know how we think, or they think they know how we think. So they're very open-minded. I like the fact that it's very upbeat. You know, Ivory Coast, you don't get bored. Like, it's just so much stuff to do. I mean, there's always somewhere to go. It's like the city that never sleeps. And
Mhm.
then the third thing, the food. The food. Ivory Coast has some nice
Yeah,
food, too.
I really also
Yeah.
enjoy the first food.
Yes, they have some nice food. So, top three things.
Okay. And then this is the last question I have.
Okay.
Um, what would you say to someone that doesn't necessarily want to move to Ivory Coast, but just about opportunities um,
Mhm.
to, start a new business, and just being open-minded and being able to take that risk? Because I know that, it is a risk and it's not easy. I know it wasn't easy for me to up and leave, and you did it. And what would you say to someone that's thinking about it and probably still planning to maybe quit their jobs or to move to a new country?
Is this me or is this you? Okay. So I think I lost you for a second, but I
Yeah.
got the question.
Okay.
So, two things. One, gratefulness, because once you're grateful for what you have, the rest will come, you know. Second thing that I really believe and what I live my life by is not to wait for the perfect conditions. You need to do what you can with what you have. This is a big one. You know, don't wait until you have like $100,000 to invest. Do what you can with what you have available to you in the moment, because the solution is there before the problem comes, you know? So as long as you're grateful for what you have, you're satisfied, you can think clearly, and you'll figure it out, you know, just figure it out as it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you for joining me.
Okay.
And I don't know when I'll see you again. Maybe when I come visit Senegal. At least I have someone
Because
to
I'm
host
not coming
to.
over there, you're coming here.
Definitely coming.
Yes.
For joining me. Thank you. And thank you for everyone that joined the conversation as well. Until the next one. Bye.
Bye bye.